Millions of intelligent professionals genuinely believe they make independent, rational decisions when shopping online late at night. You probably think purchasing that discounted item at midnight was a smart personal reward for your hard work. This illusion of free will is a catastrophic financial vulnerability actively exploited by trillion-dollar technology corporations. We must completely destroy the dangerous myth that impulsive online buying is simply a minor personal character flaw. Modern electronic commerce platforms are highly weaponized psychological laboratories explicitly designed to quietly drain your liquid capital. Traditional financial advisors uselessly tell you to exercise more willpower and stick to a strict written budget. This mainstream advice is fundamentally flawed because human willpower is not a magical infinite resource you can summon. Willpower is actually a biological battery that completely depletes after making stressful corporate decisions all day long. By the time you finally lay in bed scrolling on your smartphone, your psychological defenses are mathematically zero. Silicon Valley engineers possess exact biometric data proving your cognitive resistance is weakest between 10 and 12 midnight. This specific biological window is exactly when targeted advertisements aggressively flood your personal algorithmic social media feeds. They purposely show you physical items you briefly looked at weeks ago using highly aggressive digital tracking pixels. The digital system manufactures a false sense of extreme urgency by displaying fake countdown timers and stock warnings. These engineered psychological triggers instantly bypass your logical brain cortex and directly stimulate your primal biological survival instincts. You are not actually buying a physical product, but desperately purchasing a temporary artificial spike of chemical dopamine. The most destructive weapon in this matrix is the seamless integration of frictionless one-click digital payment systems. Saved digital credit card profiles intentionally remove the physical pain naturally associated with losing your hard-earned capital. When a retail transaction requires absolutely zero physical effort, your brain fails to register the severe macroeconomic consequences. You simply double-tap a glowing glass screen, and your future generational wealth silently evaporates into the void. To completely escape this algorithmic manipulation, you must forcefully reintroduce extreme physical friction back into your digital environment. The absolute first mandatory step is permanently deleting every single saved credit card from your digital mobile phone. You must violently remove your financial payment information from all major global retail platforms and shopping applications immediately. Forcing yourself to physically find your leather wallet and manually type 16 numbers instantly shatters the dopamine loop. This tiny mechanical delay provides your logical brain cortex the exact milliseconds needed to process the financial reality. Furthermore, you must implement an uncompromising 48-hour biological quarantine for every single non-essential digital purchase. When you feel the intense biological urge to buy something online, you must place it in the cart. You must immediately close the application and strictly forbid yourself from finalizing the transaction for 2 full days. This tactical waiting period completely flushes the artificially manufactured marketing chemicals out of your complex biological nervous system. When you look at that exact same digital shopping cart 2 days later, the magical emotional illusion disappears. You will clearly see a useless piece of depreciating plastic instead of a magical solution to your stress. 95% of the time, you will absolutely refuse to finalize the digital transaction and keep your capital. You must recognize that every dollar protected from impulsive algorithmic consumption is a critical step toward total sovereignty. The global financial elite do not squander their liquid capital on targeted midnight advertisements for cheap consumer garbage. They ruthlessly deploy their retained capital strictly into asymmetric digital assets that mathematically generate passive future cash flow. You are currently financing the extravagant lifestyles of technology billionaires by voluntarily surrendering your daily biological labor value. You must stop treating your digital smartphone as an innocent entertainment device and recognize it as a psychological threat. The algorithmic systems are infinitely more patient and mathematically superior to your temporary bursts of emotional human motivation. Only by building rigid environmental physical barriers can you successfully defend your macroeconomic future from these predatory systems. Redirecting that impulsively saved daily capital into a broad market index fund completely alters your entire financial trajectory. $100 saved from a useless late-night purchase becomes thousands of dollars in your future retirement portfolio. You must aggressively take back absolute psychological control of your own personal daily consumption habits starting this exact moment. True financial freedom is never achieved without first mastering your own internal biological vulnerabilities against external corporate manipulation. Furthermore, these massive corporations utilize psychological tricks like completely free return policies to eliminate your initial purchase hesitation. They aggressively whisper that you can always safely return the item later if you do not completely love it. This creates a massive false sense of financial security that violently encourages you to overspend your monthly liquid budget. Internal corporate data mathematically proves that retail consumers are biologically too lazy to actually execute the physical return process. You inevitably keep the useless item and permanently lose your capital because driving to the post office is annoying. You must mathematically understand that the true fundamental cost of an item includes the future compounding interest you sacrificed. Every single dollar you impulsively spend today permanently destroys its mathematical ability to legally multiply for your future generations. Electronic commerce platforms brilliantly weaponize your natural psychological aversion to paying minor digital shipping and handling transportation fees. They artificially set free delivery thresholds slightly higher than their average retail consumer's shopping basket order size mathematically. You convince your own brain to purchase $30 of useless garbage simply to save $5 on shipping. This is an absolute mathematical failure completely disguised as a highly strategic personal financial victory inside your mind. You are actively burning your future generational wealth simply to optimize minor logistical transportation costs for a global corporation. Furthermore, the digital retail matrix utilizes psychological tricks like manufactured social proof to aggressively hijack your primal, biological human herd instincts. Those flashing website notifications claiming 50 people purchased this exact item today are completely fabricated software engineering algorithms. They mathematically simulate intense social competition to completely bypass your logical financial evaluation process entirely within seconds. Your primitive brain instinctively fears missing out on a critical survival resource actively utilized by other members of society. You must immediately recognize that these digital reviews and rapid purchase counters are highly optimized corporate marketing lies. The global elite class never bases their strategic capital deployments on the manipulated daily consumption habits of anonymous strangers. Finally, you must destroy the psychological trap of falsely labeling expensive consumer liabilities as lifelong strategic asset investments. A designer leather jacket is mathematically a rapidly depreciating physical asset despite the exceptionally high-quality manufacturing material. You aggressively rationalize the massive impulsive financial expense by pretending it will mathematically last for an entire decade. True strategic investments mathematically generate passive monthly cash flow without requiring your physical daily biological labor to maintain them. You must ruthlessly protect your mind from these complex psychological rationalizations to build true global macroeconomic power eventually. The ultimate macroeconomic weapon against this system is cultivating a ruthless philosophy of absolute extreme digital minimalism starting today. Unsubscribe from every single promotional retail email newsletter that constantly pollutes your personal digital inbox with manufactured artificial urgency. These digital marketing emails are strategically designed biological triggers silently waiting for a moment of extreme psychological weakness. Protecting your digital environment from corporate advertising is the absolute foundation of building true, unstoppable macroeconomic personal power. Escaping the impulse buying matrix fundamentally requires recognizing that your attention is the most valuable currency on this earth.